March 15th, the day after Pi Day. No one told me that was the transcendental mathematical number pi and not the pies that have 5,000 calories each that you're not supposed to eat 10 of in a day. But c'est la vie, say the old folks. All right, we are excited about our guest. I'm going to introduce here in just a moment, but before I do, let me do the usual roll call. We are coming to you from Defense Distributed, the one, the only, founded by Cody Wilson, the author of the book, Come and Take It, A Gun Printer's Guide to Living Free. Did I get it right?
Thinking free.
Thinking free. I would get closer and closer by the episode. Check it out. It's $17.76 at Amazon.com and at your local book retailer. There are still Barnes & Nobles out there. I've seen one, I swear. And, of course, probably even some of your other bookstores like Book People here locally in Austin. Let's not forget our partners, Dash.org. We are working with them to spread the news, not the news, just spread the word about not just Dash, but crypto in general. We've got some new ideas brewing for how to do that, and I'm still working on getting some local businesses signed up for that. Of course, if you've seen the recent run-up in Dash, it's been quite vertiginous. So we'll probably talk to our guest about that, too. Let's see. Also, Hill Country Home Improvements for all your roofing needs. They both accept and prefer Bitcoin and Dash. And Bitmain, bitmainwarranty.com. Check out their latest Antminer S9. They even have an Ant router. Yes, that's an internet router that also mines Bitcoin while you use it. I think it's like 5 gigahash, right? Not much.
That's what we're using for our Wi-Fi here.
And so it's not much, but it adds to the security of Bitcoin, and you might just luck out and get a block reward, but don't count on it. And CryptoCompare.com for all the weekly wrap-up in the crypto sphere. That's every Sunday. Today's Wednesday, but we'd like to thank them anyway for their support. Also want to thank Paul Pui, founder and CEO of Airbits, for hanging out with us earlier this week. We ran into Mark Cuban, of all people, actually.
I gave him some Bitcoin.
Did you actually end up doing that?
I gave him the card. I gave him a QR code. So if he downloads it on his wallet, I guess that's another thing, but we'll see.
Close enough. So a friend of ours got to talk to him at length, but we weren't so lucky. I asked him for a picture, and he was like, "You're too fat." Well, no, he was probably thinking that. But he said, if I have to give you a picture, I have to do it for everybody. So I kind of understood. Anyway, let's get to it. Our guest this evening is a pretty big deal in the crypto space. His name is Vinny Lingham. He's a South African internet entrepreneur who is the co-founder and CEO of Civic, an identity protection and management startup. He was also previously the founder and CEO of Gift, which a lot of you probably know is the Bitcoin gift certificate company in Yola Incorporated. He's also the co-founder of Silicon Cape, an NGO based in South Africa that aims to turn Cape Town into a technology hub. That's pretty cool. Kind of like the guys at Stash and Stash Node Pro trying to turn Austin into the same thing. I think they called it the Silicon Hills.
Something like that.
Is their idea. Lingham was also previously founder and CEO of the global search marketing firm Incubeta and its subsidiary Clicks to Customers. He's corporate director of Yahoo. He lives in the San Francisco Bay Area. You can also find him on Twitter at Vinny Lingham, all one word, and find his blog at vinnylingham.com. Vinny Lingham, welcome to the Crypto Show. Are you there?
Yeah, thanks for the intro, except the corporate director of Yahoo thing is not true. I was on an advisory board of Yahoo like a decade ago. I don't know. That kind of follows me around. They get it wrong.
Oh, my bad. I do admit I kind of was late to prepping for the show, and I took that from, what do you call it, Wikipedia.
Yeah, I know. I need to go and fix that. Someone put that up there by mistake, and not your fault.
Wikipedia, the infallible source of information. Well, when I saw that too, that one thing stood out to me, and I thought that was kind of suspect. I almost considered dropping it. I wish I had, but oh well. But now we know the correction on that. Appreciate it. Welcome to the Crypto Show. We're pleased to have you. By the way, were you at the Texas Bitcoin Conference a couple years ago?
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's right, because when Danny told me we were having you on, and I mean, I was familiar with you, but I had forgotten about Civic, and then I did a quick little bit of pre-show research, and I saw Civic, and I remember thinking, oh, okay, I could swear we interviewed that gentleman before at the Texas Bitcoin conference.
And he spoke at the conference and at the subsequent conference after that,
That's right.
512.
Did we get him on air for a minute? I feel like?
We didn't get a chance to, no.
Oh, I must have spoken to him in person, because I remember getting a card and looking into it. And at the time, you could sign up to get on their list, and it was still kind of really early. So I'm very excited to find out more about that and what's new with Civic. But before we do that, in fact, before we get into anything else, I've obviously mentioned some of your background, but I do this with all our guests, even if they're pretty well known like you are in the crypto space. Tell us how a little bit deeper about your background, how you got into tech more broadly, and how you got into crypto more specifically.
Sure. I think getting into tech, I think I was born in tech. When I was like 8 years old, I got my first real expecting computer, so I was programming at a young age. And
you hear that? He's a cyborg, everyone.
The Spectrum, the 48K, the 128K, then into Commodore 64. And then obviously through the whole sort of PC revolution, XTs, ATs, 286, 286, 486, etc. So I spent that was when I was before I finished high school.
Wow, so you lived through it all, that whole revolution, yeah.
Yeah, and I was the total geek in the class. I got blamed for everything that went wrong in the computer room because I was on the I can tell you some stories there, but I'll skip that. Anyway, I went to University of Cape Town to study information systems and learned how to program in, back in those days it was Power Builder, which is kind of like Delphi, and Sybase SQL, and Clipper, which is a bit like COBOL. And so like I said, kind of my whole life has been in tech. And when I left, I built a website, sold it in the end of the 90s, like a month before the bubble burst in 2000. It was called Auto Finance. It was like a vehicle financing website in South Africa. I went to work in the tech space, kind of bounced around from startup to startup, until I landed a role in it was a online casino. So the story behind that was, back in the early 2000s, I mean, you probably saw tons of ads from search engines marketing online casinos and gambling ads, all these pop-ups, socials. Yeah, I was the guy buying that shit.
that was you?
Yeah, because the thing is this, so I managed I started doing that, then I focused on search in 2002, more specifically.
I lost all my money thanks to you.
Sorry, man. But back in those days, it was kind of wild, wild west, right? So you'd find that PayPal accepted online, paid out online gambling winnings, and they would accept the payments through credit cards. And so the online casinos were based out of outside the US. They're based in South Africa largely. And some of the biggest players are still based in South Africa, even though they don't cater to the US anymore because of the laws.
Do these include poker sites as well? Sorry to interrupt.
No. So we were the first. I'm a big poker player, but that's partially because I worked at the casino. I learned how to play Texas Hold'em. We launched the first real player poker network. It was the Primo Poker Network, I think it's called. Obviously then there was PokerStars and a few others that sprang up, but the group I worked for was like the second or third largest online casino group in the world. So,
oh wow.
At that point, I was managing the largest search marketing budget, like worldwide. I think we were 2.5% of the entire industry spend. And out of a team of like myself and two other guys, and writing algorithms and scripts to manage bids and studying up books on game theory and trying to figure out how to game the system. And so, from that, I actually left. And when PayPal got shut down, well, it got acquired, but they shut down the gaming stuff. I said, well, this is, I like traveling to the US. I don't want to get stopped at the border, so I'm going to get out of the casino space. And I started my own search engine marketing company, and started attending conferences, doing a whole bunch of stuff in search. We won big contracts like Walmart.com, ran that deal for about 5 years out of our company out of Cape Town. And then I just realized that, there wasn't a long-term competitive edge being in South Africa, even though I spent 4 or 5 months a year in the US. So, hey, let's just move to Silicon Valley. So I packed up, took my wife, and moved to Silicon Valley in 2008 with my new company, which was Yola. which is a SaaS platform for website publishing for small businesses. And I spent a couple of years on that, raised tons of VC money. It's still around in San Francisco. I left in 2011, and then I started Gift, which is a gift card company, mobile gift card company in late 2011, 2012. And that's when I started getting interested in Bitcoin, because one of the biggest problems we had at Gift was accepting credit cards and stolen credit cards. And so we had chargebacks and lots of these types of risks to deal with. And so as I looked into cryptocurrencies more, it was just amazing because people paid me $100. I knew there wasn't a chargeback, and I'm guaranteed to get my payment. So I started looking more and more at Bitcoins. Bought my first Bitcoins at about $40, and watched the whole boom bust cycle up to 255, crashing again, and then we implemented it on Gift and started gathering a ton of consumer data on Bitcoin, how consumers used it. We embraced the cryptocurrency community. We had a lot of requests to accept lots of these altcoins along the way, which we stuck to Bitcoin exclusively, and that's what Gift still does today.
Well, we're coming to break. Sorry to interrupt, Vinny. We are coming to break with Vinny Lingham. We'll be back in just a moment to have him finish out his explanation of his background, and we'll dive into some other stuff on the other side, so stay tuned. Sorry, it's hard to finesse those breaks. There's no real way to let you know that we're about to come to one.
No worries, no worries.
Yeah, I used Gift for some actually pretty large purchases. I used
Amazon,
Gift.
$2,000 cards, right?
No, you know Paul Snow of Factum, right?
Yeah.
So I remodeled his house, and he paid me all in Bitcoin, and so I bought a lot of the materials using gift card. I was trying to keep it as close to the hub on crypto as possible when I did the job, just kind of as a use case proof that you could use crypto to do something like this. And it was a new siding, siding, windows, roof, radiant barrier, the whole bit. I mean, just totally redid his house, repainted it, the bit, everything. And this was last February, so the price was around $378 when we got started on the job. So, yeah, I didn't get to keep it all. But I got to keep a little bit of it, Most of it was eaten up through materials and labor, but other than that, I was able to hang on to a little bit.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that's my day job is the roofer, as Paul calls me, the Bitcoin roofer. Because I accept Bitcoin, which is actually, it's really been, it's been pretty good because, most of my customers, I already know them, they just know, oh yeah, you're the guy, you accept Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. And so they'll call me to do repairs and stuff like that. So
you should do BitcoinRoofer.com. He's right.
I doubt anyone else wants it. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, Deb, bring us back.
All right, guys, welcome back to our second segment here on the Crypto Show. Don't forget our partners, Logos Radio Network. Go to logosradionetwork.com and donate. It has been a listener-supported network all these years, and without it, you would not have the Crypto Show or any of the other shows that are way better than us.
And real quick, there's a fundraiser. So there's a Spikes Tactical AR-15
nice.
Donated by Michael Cargill, and there's
Central Texas Gunworks.
There's a 9mm pistol, a Taurus pistol that's being donated, and there is a 80% lower donated by Defense Distributed. There's 308.
Thanks, Cody Wilson.
An AR-308 and an AR-15. And then there's a gift card to some Fat Sal's down on the drag. So there's a lot of
some what?
Fat Sal's Deli.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Right,
that's a cool place. Yeah. Well, thanks to everybody who is donating to help raise money for Logos Radio Network. It's a great network and a great station, 89.1 FM, TXLR, right here in Central Texas. And come and talk it with Michael Cargill. Check him out, too. He's got a great show. Well, we are with our guest, Vinny Lingham, co-founder and CEO of Gift, Civic, and he's done a whole lot more. We're just wrapping up with him about how he got into the tech space. He basically was born with a silver mouse in his mouth. You can quote me on that. No, and he has been into crypto since starting Gift around 2011, so a long time. Before we get into anything else, though, I'm curious, what was your initial impression of Bitcoin? I mean, were you kind of skeptical? Did you just think it was a means to an end for getting Gifts operating without all the hassles of credit card chargebacks? Or, I mean, how soon did you see the real promise of it?
Yeah, the funny thing is I actually heard about Bitcoin, I think, in 2010 maybe, or late 2009. And you know, when I read about it, I'm like, this is crazy. I mean, I play Warcraft, World of Warcraft. Like, the Chinese miners will just dominate the space. I was right.
Hey, you were right.
Because in Warcraft, the Chinese miners are the ones mining all the thorium and gold and all that stuff in Warcraft, and we just couldn't get any. Because like all the veins were always being tapped. So I was like, shit, okay, well, this is not going to happen. And at the time, I had an Alienware machine, so I could have mined a lot of Bitcoin. But unfortunately, I was a bit too, headstrong, and I didn't look into details and didn't believe. And by the time I came back for a second look, this is the early adopter curse, by the way. You have a first look, you're like, the price is crashing up and down. And then you come back 2 years later and everything's changed. And so, I think I was more receptive because I know that I'm very aware of the early adopter curse. When you buy version 1 of anything, it sucks, and version 3 is amazing. And you wonder why the hell you didn't stick with it.
Hindsight's 2020.
Exactly. So when I looked at it, I looked at the fundamentals, and there was enough of a marketplace to sustain. And as we open up to the Bitcoin community, it was just very obvious that there was this huge need to spend your crypto at 100,000 stores. So it was very easy for us to open it up for the community using Bitcoin.
Yeah, awesome. No, and Gift was a good one of those sort of trailblazer inroads into expanding Bitcoin adoption one way or another. Whether it's direct Bitcoin exchange or Bitcoin being a layer or a step in commerce. All those things help with pushing awareness of Bitcoin and adoption of Bitcoin. So, Gift was a very powerful thing. And Gift is still going strong, right?
Yeah, it was acquired by First Data Corporation, and they now it's Gift still probably the largest consumer website for crypto. I mean, the volumes are kind of off the charts. I think we were one of BitPay's, I think one of probably I don't have access to data anymore because I sold the company about 2.5 years ago. But at the time, it was the number one merchant for Bitcoin most of the year. I mean, obviously, 7 times a year it didn't do as well as others, but over the holiday season, which is off the charts.
Yeah, I was going to say that probably is the biggest season for them, indeed. Awesome. Well, good to get to know a little bit more intimate details about your background. Well, where should we start? I guess a good place to
jump into. I can jump into. Sorry, finish the story. I can just jump into what I'm doing today with Civic. If that helps.
Yeah, let's do that, actually. So I threw out a brief description of Civic, but go ahead and give us a deeper understanding of what Civic does.
Yeah, so one of the things we learned at Gift was that identity hasn't been solved because anyone can present a piece of plastic credit card and say, hey, this is my credit card. Well, where's the trust in that? How do we know it is theirs? And so when we have a chargeback, we lose the entire value of the purchase. It's a big problem merchants have, and Bitcoin solved it for us. But fundamentally, the biggest issue was with the entire payment space in particular is one that is a problem in other areas, which is online identity. When someone asserts that they are who they say they are, how do you prove it? So the thesis behind Civic is quite simple. We want to use the blockchain. We're using the Bitcoin blockchain in our sort of launch to to do two things. One is we can verify who you are using third-party sources. We sort of verified. We can verify your social, your name, last name, your postal address, etc., a home address, and driver's license scanning, all that stuff. We can verify this information, but we don't have to store it. So we can take it. We can take the information, we can put it on your device. We can put hashes on the blockchain, give you the private keys to those hashes, and we can essentially discard that information from our servers. So we're not holding your information. And what you can do with that is when you go to someone else, if they have the ability, and anyone has without technology or directly connecting to blockchain, they can verify that if you're in possession of the private keys, that you own that information and it's been verified by a third party like Civic or anyone else wants to get in the mix. So what you can effectively create is digital identity using the blockchain as an intermediary or third party. And the reason that's important is when you take an identity to a bar, so you take your driver's license out, the barman doesn't keep a record that you've been there. The guy who checks at the bounce the door, he just looks at it and says, okay, you're over 18. But I mean, if he really has a good memory, he can kind of remember your address or something like that. But most, when they deal with hundreds of people a night, they don't. So the good part about that is, when you hand out your driver's license walking to bar, is, well, the DMV doesn't know that you used your ID. And that's the whole point in the offline world is when identities are used, no one should know about it except the two parties, the one party checking and the one party providing it. And so what we did with Civic is we built a very privacy-centric solution where we can give you the keys, we can put on your device, we don't store anything on our servers, and we basically have the ability to use that ID information anywhere, and the person accepting it, as long as they trust that Civic does their job in terms of verification, they can trust that that's you. And because they're not checking with us, if that's you, they're checking on a blockchain, nobody knows the transaction happened. And so the privacy within our service is actually pretty remarkable, and we're busy rolling this out. In the next month or two, we'll be launching the app that allows people to create this digital ID and use it within a network of sites. And so things you can do with this is, for example, you can go log into a website or another app and give them a token and not anything else about yourself. So they don't know who you are, but at least they know that you're a real person. You've had your ID verified, your social, etc. They don't have to get any of that information, but they can trust that you're not creating multiple fake accounts. And maybe they want to give you $5 or $10 free to try their service out, but they know that you can't game the system and keep coming back. So that's the type of use cases we're going after, as well as just in the crypto space. You want to create you want to access a Bitcoin wallet. You want to store your private keys for the wallet on a third-party account instead of having to write it down. We can secure that within your app on your phone. You can back it up to whatever service you want to, but we don't store it on our service. So that's kind of what Civic's goal is. We're trying to give everyone in the world effectively a digital ID.
Wow, that's a pretty ambitious goal right there, and I think a very beneficial thing. Well, and so you said that in perhaps a month or two, you're going to have a full rollout of your app and of the whole system.
I'd say end of April to end of May, somewhere around there. I'd say May is a good time.
Okay, next 2 to 3 months. And do you have current open testing that, like beta testing or anything that people can do or have done to demonstrate, how well it's worked so far or anything like that?
Not yet. We have it privately with a few people, but nothing. Nothing public just yet.
And is this, as far as I know, this is the only thing I've heard of in this space?
It reminds me a little bit of what Demon Saw is trying to do with social crypto. More of a one-on-one basis there, where this person knows that it's you because you gave him. Because you have that thing where,
social crypto between you that only you can
you remember
get.
that time you and I did that thing.
Yeah, kind of been on a broader scale.
Right.
And are you guys the only company in the field doing this right now?
In the way we're doing it, as far as we know, yes. There are other players doing similar, different things, but we're the only ones where we've taken a position that we're hello?
Oh, you know what? We just ran off into the break. That's my bad. No, I was just so engrossed in what you were saying, I didn't even check the clock, so that's my bad. I rarely do that, but we'll come back and resume in just a moment. Deb,
It's on a little larger scale than what Demon Saw is doing, but it just made me think of that when he started talking about that.
Yeah, it kind of has that, especially with the one-on-one verification that no one has to know about.
Right. It's a cryptography that is personal.
Deb, sorry if you I let that go.
It happens.
Well, yesterday was Pie Day, so Chris is still engrossed in thinking about pie.
I'm still reeling from all the blueberry.
Yeah. I think it was like March 14th. March 14th is Pie Day. Right?
Yeah, 3.14. And so 2 years ago, it was 3.1415. And then like at 9 o'clock, 3.14159. And that only happens once every 100 years.
You think?
What?
Only every 100 years? How do you know this?
What do you mean?
It's basic mathematics.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying. I mean, it's sort of obvious, but it's not immediately obvious necessarily.
Just think the last time no one even knew what that was, though.
The last 100 years, that's true. That's probably true.
Pie. It's got fruit, right?
Pie I had last night, dude.
So,
hold on, let me
make sure we at some point soon get into about the ETF and.
Yeah, I'm going to ask him about his fork in the road article, the block limit debate, and I mean that's related to the article. It looks like, and then the ETF, and then his predictions for Bitcoin and altcoins and stuff. Yeah, I've got some stuff written down for that.
Vinny, are you following any altcoins?
I am. I'm following a few of them.
Yeah.
I think the run-up in Dash has been spectacular.
Really? Well, we're sponsored by Dash, so we would be inclined to agree.
Yeah, on that point, I mean, I can't see it going up. I mean, maybe like 5, 10, 20%, but like at some point it comes down. It's not sustainable.
Well, yeah, I think it's going to come down a little bit, but there are actually some pretty big announcements coming up soon, so it'll.
Yeah, but still, it is a big. What do you call it? What do you call that kind of exponential kind of jump?
What I think a lot of it is people just being fed up with. Expensive transaction fees and slow block times.
Well, no, and lost confidence in Bitcoin. And we'll find out what he thinks about it too. Well, it sounds like we're coming back. Deb, bring us back when you're ready.
Rick's taking over from here.
Oh, okay, thanks, Rick. Whenever you're ready.
Here we go,
dude.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Crypto Show. We are talking with Vinny Lingham, the founder and CEO of Civic, an identity protection service using the blockchain. And let's see, what is there going to be a membership cost to Civic?
No, Civic's free. I mean, we have a couple of pay packages because we connect with credit bureaus to protect your information, so we got to pay because they charge us. But everything we don't have to pay for, we'll give it free to consumers because we want to charge businesses for the platform.
That's really awesome. I think that's usually a good business model and how such things like Civic get popular. Let me ask you. Go
speaking of popular, just throw this out there. I went to South by Southwest yesterday because, well, Paul gave me his badge. So
you were able to get in with it? Really?
Yes, I did. I went to a bunch of events with it. Anyway, there were all these different blockchain events, and there were just all these people that knew really nothing about blockchains that were speaking about blockchains. It was interesting. I mean, the room, literally, they turned 200 people away from a huge room. There were probably 350 people inside. They turned away 200 people that wanted to know about blockchain technology.
And why did they turn them away?
Because there was no room.
Wow.
I mean, It was huge buzz. It was crazy.
Well, I think South by Southwest has been smart to include Bitcoin and blockchain.
What? No, nobody wanted to know anything about Bitcoin. It was all about blockchain.
Really?
That's all anybody wanted to know about. Yeah, it was a big, huge buzzword thing.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing too, is it's good, although if it's just merely a buzzword for them, that's still a limited thing. But I think South by is going to have to really accommodate and have a much bigger event and try to get some bigger names. Paul Poy is definitely a big name from Airbits, but they're going to really have to expand and allow for a much bigger audience.
Well, three days in a row there were blockchain events.
Oh, wow. Well, I wish I'd gone. You didn't tell me. Well, speaking of blockchain, Civic uses the blockchain, as Vinny told us, to secure your information. And so just to reiterate, so Civic takes you in your identity, confirms it, and then cryptographically secures it to the blockchain so that if anyone needs to verify it's you in the future, assuming they trust the vetting and due diligence that you've done to confirm the identity of the Civic customer, they can do so quietly on the blockchain and basically anonymously between the customer and the person trying to validate his identity, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So the way we built the system as well, for now, we're the only ones doing the verification, but in the future, any company could potentially use our technology. And, so for example, we're trying to banks and other providers that have already verified who you are, so they could issue the assertions of who you are themselves without having to go through the whole process again. So it just depends. But for now, we kind of have to roll it out ourselves. And we're focusing on the crypto community for now. There's a good reason for that, because we think that people in crypto have a really deep appreciation for privacy and want privacy. And we're trying to basically play on that to get a groundswell of support. The thing about privacy is very different from anonymity. And I think people make the mistake between the two. Anonymity means nobody knows. Okay? And privacy means that those who need to know will know.
Right, good point.
Anonymity is you have... You effectively wind up getting for example, regulators, governments, etc. Anonymity is bad, and this is why they get involved, is because the perspective that they have at that point is, hang on a second, we have got regulations and agreements and treaties with other countries. In the payments world, we can't have a situation where money laundering is happening, people are funding terrorism, and quite frankly, as honest citizens, we don't want that either, right? Because it can come back to bite us. And so we need to make sure that there can be privacy, but anonymity needs to be sort of managed, because it just opens up progress to a lot of downside. Now, I know a lot of crypto people are like, anonymity is good. Anonymity is not good. Would you get onto a plane with 200 people who even the airlines didn't know who they were, right? And you're flying the sky, versus 200 people who you don't know who they are. They have their privacy, but they're anonymous in some respect because you don't know who they are. But they're not anonymous. Someone knows who they are. And flying on
No, and we operate actually pretty frequently in our daily lives on some level of a lack of anonymity, like you're talking about. Privacy, yes, where someone in some way has, if only implicitly vetted those who are selected to attend a certain event or something. You're right. So the plane is a great example. Everyone who's going on the plane, for instance, is not on a terror watch list. I mean, that's whole can of worms. But you're right. As an example, you're not just going on a plane with just any random person. There is some modicum of security verification that goes into that, so that you can be sure that you're not just flying with some bunch of wackos or something. That's actually a really good point. I think people forget that distinction.
You mean guys from the crypto show?
And let me ask you, so how thorough is your verification? Because obviously someone can question how thorough that is, that could consider that a weak point potentially if they don't feel confident in your verification process. How can we feel confident in your verification process?
It's even more difficult to get them to send a letter. Have you ever been there?
And you brought up a common example of someone going to a bar and their ID being checked just for the age, say. Does Civic allow a way for people to confirm only parts of their identity in the same way that you only need to confirm your age, say, going to a bar, but maybe you don't want them seeing other information about you, especially considering that information, by the nature of your process, is pretty secure as far as it's being identified to you? Is there a way just to do specific information like that? Do you know what I'm saying? Ah, okay. That's pretty neat. So you can do that so let's just say someone needed your driver's license number or your age or whatever. You can do it just in such a way that they only see that information.
Yeah, your actual date of birth actually opens you up to identity theft.
No, that's a good point. So just knowing your age and not your specific date of birth, that's a really good point. Let's see. Well, and a pretty neat service. I'm pretty excited to know that it's going to be rolling out soon, and it's free to customers. I mean, you can't beat that. We got about less than 30 seconds till break. I want to wrap up with Vinny on the other side about Civic. Find out what we can expect besides the rollout, if there are any additional developments in the works, and if there's anything we missed about how the service works, and then we'll get on to some other stuff about Bitcoin and altcoins more generally. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Are there any aspects of Civic that we've not covered that you want to mention?
No, we good.
Okay.
Around technology, around cryptography, around freedom, some things are going to develop. We might see some more WikiLeaks on the way. I'd expect that, and we're going to bring you another great, exciting show. Getting better each week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Thanks a lot. Bibles for them. $1 billion settlement for environmental customs and financial line.
And the Logos Radio Network. We're coming to you live.
All right, cool.
Hey, Deb?
This is Rick.
Oh, is it just you, Rick? I need to give my friend John a call. I apparently the McAfee show is going already. I hadn't, because we were in Acapulco and I didn't actually get to talk to John, but on the 5th, I think they started.
It's on Logos?
Yes. I was supposed
Oh,
to
that's
be. Well, I was supposed to be producing that, but
Oh, you are really?
yeah, I definitely want to team up with them.
And who is?
Well, I'll get a hold of him, but I want to team up with him and take our stuff in July and do a show from DEF CON.
Where is it this year?
It's always in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. I knew that would be in July.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that would be fun. I've never been to Vegas as an adult, actually.
Me either. I went to Circus, but as a
Yeah,
kid.
me too. That's so funny. That's so funny.
I grew up in California. My parents gambled a lot, but
My parents didn't, thank God, I guess.
that's how I ended up as a sex slave. No, I'm kidding.
That's for our next episode. We'll dig in deeper
Right. You ready?
when the hypnotist comes.
Hey, Rick, you there? Rick, we're ready. We're ready, man.
Guys, welcome back to the fourth segment of our first hour, our last segment of the first hour here on the Crypto Show. We're talking with Vinny Lingham, one of the big names in the crypto space, co-founder and CEO of Gift, co-founder and CEO of Civic, and we've just been talking about that, how Civic secures your identity in a very thorough way and then attaches it to the blockchain, allowing you to do all sorts of cool things that you wouldn't be able to do without having it attached to the blockchain. Let me ask you, before we move on, what if someone, now, no system is perfect, and that's not the fault of the creator of the system. That's also just a part of physical reality. But let's say someone were to get your private keys using Civic. Is there any sort of fail-safe for getting your identity back and redoing the whole process, or what would you say to that?
Yes, so we can, there's a way of us revoking the attestations of everybody that's happened, so that those keys would be wouldn't be valuable. So, not wouldn't be valuable, sorry, wouldn't be usable. So there is a way for us to, so if we revoke the attestations, we're saying that those attestations are no longer valid for these keys. If you use those keys to sign a risk, well, it's not going to prove anything. That's the first part. The second part is, to actually get hold of your keys, they need physical access to your phone. We've just done a deal, we've just done a collaboration with Intel. So if you go to civic.com, www.civic.com/Intel, it gives you this page about what we do with Intel. And essentially, we're using Intel's chipsets to lock identity to your device. So putting the digital identity on your actual laptop using Intel's subject-loaded extensions. So malware can't get in there, and viruses can't attack it, etc. It's very secure. It's locked down to the device. You can use fingerprints to verify who you are, etc. The same happens with the iPhone. It's pretty sandboxed and locked down. There's no real way for people to access your keys without physical access to the device. Obviously, Android, there are some vulnerabilities and some of that equation on Android, but I think as we roll out with the new versions, we're going to be very, very conservative with the version of Android we use. We launched our Android product, but as a whole, your ID information is on the device. That's the whole premise. So Civic's vision is this: if there are 7 or 8 billion people in the world, the only way that you can build the world's biggest identity company is by not holding any data at all. So 8 billion people need to have 8 billion devices containing their data, and that way we can't get hacked. And the only way you can hack anyone is to hack their device. So that makes it almost impossible to have the data breaches that you have today, where one company gets hacked, all information gets out. And with Civic, if information gets out, it's easy for us to revoke it, reallocate it, etc. And there's ways to back it up. We don't back up the information either. You have to use iCloud or Drive or Dropbox to back up your encrypted information, and so on. So we've thought all these things. We've actually have a pretty solid solution around it.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar with other emerging technologies, including in the crypto space, where if you have a third party holding anyone's information on their server, whatever, you're creating a vulnerability point for everybody potentially, and that's why you decentralize, say, the private keys or other information in the hands of the customers instead of the company creating this valuable service. So a very important thing. I noticed too, by the way, you give real-time alerts to the customer in case something's accessed to alert them in case it might not be them.
Yeah, we do that right now through our partnership with Trust Union. Now that comes from the credit bureaus, but our systems are able to alert anyone who needs the system. So this is something which we're going to put. It's available right now. The adoption cycle has been very slow, just because credit bureaus kind of have the bulk of the data right now. But we'll see.
Awesome. Well, to wrap up, I guess just briefly take us through the sign-up process. It sounds pretty easy, and then tell us, aside from the rollout, what other developments you have in store for Civic, and then we'll probably switch gears and move on to some broader crypto questions. You there, Vinny? Oh, did I cut out? I was going to say, just to wrap up, take us through the sign-up process. It sounds pretty easy, just for customers to get an idea of how quick and streamlined it is, and then tell us about any other developments in the works for Civic besides the upcoming rollout.
Yeah, so right now what you see on Civic.com is a very basic identity theft protection service. We give $1 million free ID theft insurance to anyone who signs up with Civic.
Oh, cool.
That's the current product. The new product, of course, that we're working on digital identities in the next month or so. That's coming out soon. And it's very simple. You sign up, right? You will have to sign up again for the mobile version because the current version, because we kind of split it up for legal reasons because we're with the credit bureaus, but it's effectively two separate products for now. But eventually it'll come together. It's pretty easy just to sign up. We have other products in the works, but the cool thing is, look, once we can get identity locked onto the device and gives you control of your personal information, there's some really cool things in what we have in the works. I can't really talk about it right now, but I think it's one of those situations where we're building things where you don't know what you like until you have it. So when you have it, you know when you have it.
I think so. I mean, it is a pretty unique identity security platform, and it is one of those things, until you try, you don't really fully appreciate just how nifty it is. But it's definitely a very new idea to attach it to the blockchain and secure it that way. And I think this is going to prove very valuable to a lot of people. And like you said, for now you're kind of targeting the crypto demographic, which this should be a no-brainer for a lot of them, since they understand a lot of the problems involved with identity theft and the flip side, of course, of securing your identity and other data against various forms of theft, and all the crypto tools that are used to make that happen. So I feel pretty confident about this catching on pretty quick. So we're very pleased that you're able to talk to us about that. So check that out, guys. Civic.com. Again, it's free. They're going to have the big rollout coming up, hopefully no later than May. And you should definitely check it out for yourself, because this is one of the most important things going forward. The more digital we get, the more important securing identity is. I mean, it just goes without saying, so check it out. Let's switch gears a little bit. And Vinny, do we have you potentially for the next hour as well, or how much more time do we have you for? Oh, wait, 10 minutes past the hour? Okay, thanks. Let's move on quick then. I want to talk about your recent article, A Fork in the Road. Didn't get a chance to read it except maybe initial sentence or two, but I think it clearly has to do with the block size debate and the two competing solutions for that, Bitcoin Unlimited and segregated witness. Tell us a little bit about your article and what your conclusions were. Sure. My goal is to point out the macro markets this is verified on the blockchain using Civic.
Well, you trust media that blockchain. So, my most recent two blog posts have been, preventing a Bitcoin bubble where I said the ETFs would be decline, should be declined. And by the way, that was basically everyone told me wasn't going to be declined, and all the reasons why. And then the one I posted today was a fork in the road, which is dealing with the serious issue we had. And then I've said a couple of tweets recently about I think there's a big altcoin bubble right now, and everyone who's had these fantastic gains are going to try and get money out of the system, and this is not enough liquidity there. And people are using Bitcoin as a way of getting liquidity. You trade your alt into Bitcoin so you can get out, which is great. But Bitcoin's hitting a wall right now on price. There's this 1300 ceiling where a lot of fiat sellers, guys who want the fiat, are going to get out. And we've already seen that resistance at 1300. So
Is that just mere profit taking, or is there more to it?
exactly. So I mean, think about it. You're a guy in sub 400 right now, is trading at 1200 plus, over 1300, and at the 1300 level, there's so much selling and resistance that if the alt guys keep piling into Bitcoin to get out of the alts, it pushes the Bitcoin price up, right? Because it's just supply and demand. And what then happens is the Bitcoin price goes up, and the USD Bitcoin pair, and it starts hitting sell walls from people who want to get out of USD Bitcoin. This is the nuances of trading are just lost on a lot of people who are just they know better than me, right? So I've been talking about two things. One is how do you prevent a Bitcoin bubble, and I'm glad that we've got this ceiling right now in the short term of about 1300. How we break that, I've got some views. I think
Let's-
it needs to happen.
Let's hear those views on the other side. We have a few more minutes with Vinny. He was gracious enough to give us a few more. We'll need to go when he has to, but we'll be right back.